Hey guys, Norman here, and in this video I will be explaining the ins and outs of pottery making. Now, before I proceed any further, you may not even know what pottery is. And for those of you that don't know, I have a very simple explanation to clear up any confusion. This is pottery. Okay, with that out of the way, let's get after it. Like with everything, you need tools to make things, and pottery is no exception. The main tools necessary are a potter's wheel, a kiln, and a bunch of other stuff. The stuff that you need, that's up to you. For instance, one person may decide to use shelves in the making process, while another person may rather use a floor. You may also have to have a chair for frequent napping. Basically, the tools necessary are subjective. But there are a few things that are necessary. You will need to use clay for the formulating process. It's not necessary, but it is best to use a potter's wheel to make your clay-based goods. You can also shape the clay by hand or through other different methods. And maybe you want to make something that can be used for functional use, such as a mug. Then glazing will be required. Or maybe you want to decorate your formulated vessel, or whatever you made, and give it more pizzazz. In which case, I would recommend glazing. Now with glazes, that can be a bit complicated. That's why I made a separate video just about ceramic glazes. There is a link below this video in the description box. You should click on that link. You should watch that video about ceramic glazes. I get very well in depth. Therefore, you know just how much trouble I have to go through in order to make a pottery glaze. Okay, now with that out of the way, here is the step-by-step procedure. Step 1. Make sure your clay is ready to be shaped. Wedging may be required. Step 2. Shape your clay. The method you use does not matter. Step 3. Finishing your project. Now, there's an endless array of ways to finish your project. You can apply acrylic paint on it and call it good. Or you can leave it as is. Or you can throw it away. Or, and a big or, you can actually finish it the right way. This is where kiln firing and glazing come into play. You could take your bone-dry greenware piece and glaze it or leave it plain. Then place it in a kiln and fire it to the proper temperature range to fully vitrify it, so that it is stronger and much less brittle. However, if you plan on glazing your pottery item, there are some problems with this method. One of the main reasons is that while glazing it, the piece can break because of its brittle nature. This is why it's highly advised by both professionals and amateurs in this field to introduce your fragile greenware vessel into the kiln to fire it at a temperature range that will bisque the piece, but not fully vitrify it. Once bisqued, it will be less likely for it to break while handling and glazing it. The methods to glazing it can be dipping, pouring, brushing, or even using your finger. Once glazed, place them in the kiln and fire them to the proper temperature range to fully vitrify and finish them. Finished pieces can look like this, or even that.